Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, almost live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm LBJ. You're there and I'm here, and you're listening to The Heartfelt Truth. Let me start off by saying, as I always do, that I hope my voice finds you in good health, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Not necessarily in that order, but all equally important to help us through this thing we call life. And when you leave this podcast, if you didn't get anything from it, you probably weren't listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm LBJ, and you're listening to LBJ on The Heartfelt Truth. On today's show, we're going to talk about my social media account. There's something I put out the other day, and I felt very passionate about, and I wanted to share with you fine people here and around the world. Also, I want to discuss the coronavirus. I know people are tired of talking about it, but it's still here. And there are people and there are states that are starting to spike. And I just want to just share a few things that what I think we did here in the Northeast, as painful as it was, we did the right thing. And the last thing I want to go over real quick is to when is the best time to do something? Think about that. No matter what it is or whatever you plan on doing, when is the best time to take action? All right. So, and we're going to come back to that. All right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, real quick on my social media account. The other day, I was sitting around and I was having my cup of coffee, and I as I sat there and I try so hard not to get sucked into the news and all the negativity that, you know, as soon as you wake up first thing in the morning, I have the very bad habit of turning the TV on, and then I look at all this negativity that is going on here and around the world. Well, I'm going to talk about home right here. And as I sat there, I came up with this thing. It's not an original thing, but it was my thought process at that time. And I decided to make a video, which is very rare for me. I don't do videos, but I did something and I shared it. And a few people liked it. You know, people thought it was interesting. And I do it like I always say, even if I get one person to even think about something, then I've done my job. But what I discussed was, you know, we have all this turmoil going on here around us. We have the virus. We have social injustice, and we have social awareness and changes and protests and the racial unrest, the division that we have in this country. It really can get to you. It can blow your mind. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take my stand here. I believe in equality, okay? I believe that everybody deserves to be treated as an inalienable right for people to be treated, you know, like human beings. You know, you treat one and treat the other the same way. But what happens is this here. I came up with this thing and I made a video. Anger, denial, and acceptance. Those three things. Think about that. Anger, denial, and acceptance. You can apply that to pretty much anything that goes on in your life. You know, if you think about maybe a crisis or anything, you as the individual, not outside sources, but yourself. You know, a lot of things go on. You know, you could have a controversy with a family or a friend or a coworker or anything. And if they've done something to, you know, kind of tick you off, first there's anger. Then there's denial. Then there's acceptance. And I think that's what we have to do. Things are not going to change. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. Things will not change until we handle anger, denial, and acceptance. Now, I'm referring to the fact that, yes, with all the protests and everything going on, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger. Then you got people that are sitting back and they're in denial about all the things that are being discussed, all the things that might have happened, all the things that have happened. There's denial. And denial takes the form of people saying, well, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like that. Well, I really didn't mean this. Well, it wasn't like that. Well, she did this. Then I did that. Instead of getting to the truth and the root of the problem, there's the denial. And then the change occurs when you sit back and say, well, you know what? Here's what really happened. Here's the truth. Now, whether there's apologies in there or there's, anything else going on in there, admittance, truth, whatever you want to, then there's acceptance. And once you get to acceptance, then things change. Now, listen, guys, these things are not going to happen overnight. Change is not going to happen overnight. You didn't go from laying in a cradle to sitting at a bar overnight. Wow, I don't know where that came from. But my point being is everything takes time. But those three things, anger, denial, and acceptance, they have to be addressed. I don't think anybody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of denial. Nobody's got to acceptance yet. Once we get to acceptance, then you're going to see some solid changes. And I think that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, without me going off on a tangent, because I can talk pretty long about that topic. I thought about it, put out probably a 2-minute piece on it. Got a few people to check out, make you think. That's all I want to do. Just want to make you think. I listen. Am I going to change the mindset of everybody here and around the world? No, I'm not. Some people, it is what it is. You're not going to change their hearts and minds. I would love to be able to do that. But, nothing's going to change until we get to that acceptance part. So, if you get a chance, check out my social media accounts, and that's what that's all about. All right, the second part of this thing here. Okay, let's get real. Okay, coronavirus, it's still here. It hasn't gone anywhere. And I don't know if you guys have heard it. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit. And you go like this, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. And that's what happens. And some people have decided to go in the water a little early. And what happens when they go in the water a little early, and maybe it's an old wives' tale or whatever, probably, say if you eat a sandwich, you have your lunch, and you go right back in the water too quick, you're going to get a cramp. Well, some states have just jumped in the water real quick, and now they're catching a cramp. Now, with all that being said, it sucks. Excuse my French. The bottom line is because I, myself, personally, and I can go out and honestly say that I don't wish anyone, any ill feelings. I don't wish anyone any bad, health. I personally like people. I personally care about people. I don't want to see anyone sick. But, the funny thing is sometimes you can't excuse the fact that some people just don't think, or they think they have the answers and they really don't. Oh, no, it's not going to affect me. And it turns around and it does. I can relate to the fact that one time, there's several times in my life as a young man, my mother would say, no, son, don't do that. No, that's not a good idea. No, that's not for you. And Ma, stop. I got this. What? She says, son. And you turn around and you're like, oh, Ma, you were right. I shouldn't have did that. So that's what happens with a lot of people here in the United States. And I would imagine eventually around the world. But what happened is now there's people getting sick again. And it's very sad. I don't know if you've just dropped in on LBJ for the first time. I shared with you my own dance and my family with Mr. Corona. And it wasn't fun. But I have to say, honestly, through the grace of God, my family and myself, we weathered the storm. We've gotten better and we've survived that part of it. And I don't want to see anybody go through that. I just hope people get smart and it gets better. I will say this, that the coronavirus is here. It's not going anywhere, at least for a while. And then you got the idea of the vaccine and so forth and so on. But my thing is here, people should be wearing their mask. People should be wearing their mask to prevent the spread, to protect themselves, protect other people. Why is that still so controversial, around the country? This is not my phrase, and I'm going to put it out there. So my disclaimer is it's not mine, but it hit home the moment I heard it. There was a doctor, and she said, and I quote, "If you don't like wearing a mask, well, you're sure as hell going to hate wearing a ventilator." Wow. It smacked me right dead in the face when I heard that. I said, how profound. Is anybody listening to that? If you don't like wearing a mask, you're going to hate wearing a ventilator. Case closed. There's nothing else to say about that. So people, the bottom line is, we should get smart with this thing because evidently it's not going nowhere. In the Northeast, they've done a fantastic job. It was painful. There were people that lost their lives, sadly. I'm speaking firsthand. I've seen it. I've experienced it, some of it, and it's not going away. So we really have to be vigilant in terms of trying to, put a handle on this thing. And I hope people don't just take it for granted. Listen, believe me, I miss going out to a restaurant and sitting down and having a nice meal and conversation with some good friends. I mean, I was just sharing the other day. I said, wow, man, I haven't been out with my friends in months. And we'd go sit down and we would talk and share and just pick up different pointers and all kinds of things. Friendship. But we got to be smart right now. You got to be careful. Your life depends on it. Has anybody said that? Your life depends on it. So, I don't know. Corona, stay here. Please, please, please be careful and be safe and try to do the right thing. And even though it's uncomfortable, keep your mask on. All right? And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I have been really kind of going back and forth. I know it seems like we're in a little bit of a vice grip here. I have so much content sitting and waiting. I've been taking some classes. I've been getting some certifications. Things I want to share and to get people motivated and try to start living to their fullest potential. And that this is not some quick fix. There's no guarantees. There's no, there's nothing here that I'm going to say, I guarantee you that no. What I'm telling you is to get motivated and try to get better. That's exactly what I'm doing. To be the best version of yourself. That's important. And that's what I'm trying to do, all together. You help me, I help you. And that's where we are. So we really got to get back to the business of sharing some of my knowledge and information and helping someone. I don't pretend. I definitely am not one of those people that give guarantees about certain things, but I'm here to help, and I also want you to help me. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, listen, please do me a favor. First of all, thank you. I am moving into a really, really, really good number of people that listen to LBJ, The Heartfelt Truth. Do me a favor, share it. Tell people about LBJ, The Heartfelt Truth. It's just real conversation, and it is always just gives you another way of looking at things. Check me out on my social media accounts. Subscribe. Hang out. Become part of the team. And we're going to get through this thing together. And slowly but surely, you will see the progress. Okay? Like I said before, I don't make guarantees, people, but I promise you, if we stick together, we will get to better. And that's all we want. And matter of fact, some of you right there might just skyrocket and just take off to the races. And you know what? If that happens, oh my goodness, I just would be so excited. I really would. I love to see people succeed and do the best that and be the best that they can be. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, last thing. When is the best time to do something? Now. So please share LBJ, The Heartfelt Truth, with your friends. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm LBJ. You're there and I am here. And you've been listening to the Heartfelt Truth. Thank you. And we will talk again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to LBJ, the Heartfelt Truth. If you like what you've heard, or you got some comments or feedback, please send it to LBJ, the Heartfelt Truth at gmail.com, or check me out on my social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to iHeartRadio, Spotify, or iTunes. And as I always say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and we will talk again.